Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I've got a fantastic guest for you today, Leslie Perez, and she is a fitness queen and she's also a coach. She's got an amazing story. I'm really happy to bring her onto the show for the audience and the guests. We're going to talk about eating disorders. We're going to talk about relationships, fitness, coaching, and I'm really happy to bring entrepreneurs such as Leslie onto the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so kind of set the stage, talk to the audience about your story, how you got started, and what you do now.
Like Christopher mentioned, I am Leslie Perez. I am from Miami, Florida. I'm a personal trainer and also online coach. I started a few years ago, 4 years, gonna be in March. A little bit about me is I worked for corporate America, had a job, and did this on the side. This was my passion. Just 3 months ago, though, I decided to quit corporate America and go full time with my passion, which is fitness. Um, Christopher mentioned a couple of things that I've been through. It's such a long story, and I'm sure we're going to dive into it. But I've had the whole process of going through CrossFit, doing body weight exercises, to strength training, to doing bodybuilding shows, going through bad relationships with food, eating disorders, to now fully recovered and be more knowledgeable about my nutrition and how to live a balanced lifestyle.
Hmm.
So I guess that's a little brief overview of all the things I've gone through in a period of like 30 seconds.
Hmm. You mentioned something really interesting is this bad relationship with food. And I've heard the term bad relationship with money, and I've heard like bad relationships like codependence and, like abuse, all this stuff. What does a bad relationship with food look like? What does it feel like? What are the habits? This is more for my curiosity.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Um, a person that doesn't have the best relationship with food is someone that classifies food as good and bad. So someone that's like, oh, I eat like shit, or I eat really bad, I eat really bad food. Like a person that classifies a certain food item as bad, right? Obviously, like there are nutritional foods that attribute more to whatever goal you're trying to aspire, right? Like whatever goal you're going for. And there's foods that are more soul foods, but that doesn't necessarily make them bad, right? While I was going for my bodybuilding shows, I was under the guidance of maybe not the most educated coaches, which caused me to have a bad relationship with food, associating foods as bad for you, or things that I shouldn't be eating or shouldn't be doing. So that's how I hope that answers your questions in terms of like what is a bad relationship with food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I just kind of dissected and it's just I'm interested in like new terms and what they mean. Um so then kind of talk about so you kind of you develop this like personal brand in fitness, and now you help others kind of, and then you've in the process you've gone through diets and it looks like eating disorders. Kind of talk about that journey and how it led you to helping clients today.
Yeah, I think the fact that I've gone through all the different phases of fitness per se, and I still have to go through different phases, helps me understand my clientele better because I understand what it is that they're going through and what they're feeling and what they're thinking. So going through the whole phase of like not knowing absolutely nothing, walking into a gym and feeling intimidated by all the men around you, that is a phase. I understand that because I've been there. Then I've gone through the phase of associating foods as bad, and what that feels like, and what kind of mindsets we have to talk about in order to help you set you up in the right mindset when it comes to nutrition. So I think all the lessons that I've learned, apart from like injuries that I've had as well, bulging disc, many injuries, all of those have helped me tailor better to my clients because they could relate to me because they may be going through similar things. And you learn as you go as well with different other experiences that you get along the way.
Like most of the influencers I talk to these days, they have a specific skill. Like yours is in fitness and nutrition, diet, bodybuilding. Others can be in mental health, and others are like in marketing And it's quite interesting how everybody's leveraging their skills to develop a personal brand. And a lot of them are coaching. So, they have clients and they're helping others. So one thing is talk about your approach to fitness. You talk about it should be a lifestyle, but kind of how do when people see your work, what do they see? What can they expect?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my brand is, okay, abbreviations is BABY. It stands for Build a Better You. So I truly believe as humans, we should work towards being 1% better every day, whether that's reading a book, whether that's going for a walk, whatever it is. It really keeps us alive. It keeps us going. It keeps us motivated to continue, right? So with that said, when clients work with me, don't expect meal plans. I do not believe in restriction of food. I know that some clients are not prepared to macro track or track the nutrients that they're intaking. I understand that. So I give them a sort of structure, but never something that's limited or restricted. So that's kind of the process I go through. Every client is different. Every level that I get is different. So everyone's journey is different. I know people hate to hear that, but the process that usually comes in, it's a client comes in, I assess them in terms of where they are in their levels of skills, and then we go from there. The first month really is about me getting to know them, collecting data, like how they're actually eating, just by writing down their foods and stuff like that. What does their fitness routine look like, etc. And little by little, the key is building up, reaching different milestones little by little, not throwing 20 goals at you at once. And that's how you truly make sustainable habits and lifestyle changes, is little by little, nothing that's so drastic that you'll do for a month or two and then give up because it's too much and unsustainable. So that's what I truly believe in. And if people were to work with me, that's what they should expect from me. And I'm a more so of a tough love person. So I will empathize with you, but at the same time, I'll make sure you get on your stuff.
Yeah. And what sort of results have I know client testimonials and what have you what have they said?
Yeah, no, I mean, they love it because I'm a very hands-on coach. So I'm not your typical coach that may give you a plan and peace out for 2 months or so, right? I'm very much talking to you multiple times per week, texting you. If I see you've missed a few workouts, I'm there chatting you up to see what's going on. And again, I'll empathize with you, but I'll also remember that you have a goal and that you're trying to get to a certain place. And there's different clients that, maybe they're just trying to, again, have a lifestyle around this. And there's some that legit have goals that we have a deadline for, like brides. I've trained brides before, so they want to fit into their dress. So it's specific goals like that. And we've had great results. I had one bride train with me for a whole year. She came from doing keto diets, things that restrict carbs, things like that, to training with me for a full year and losing a total of 70 pounds and fitting into her dream dress, right? So it works. It's just it's a patience game. If you want quick results, I am not your girl, because it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the coaches I've in the past that I've had, and it's a long game. It's basically small chunking it, and it's not like a band-aid. It's actually you have to work mentally, you have physically, everything. One thing is talking about was dealing with eating disorders. And have you encountered clients in the past with eating disorders? How do you approach their fitness and nutrition plans differently?
That's a great question. So it really depends, right? So if a client comes to me and there's just some behaviors of this food is bad and it's minor things, those are more mindset conversations we're going to have, and then kind of shifting gears as to, instead of I should or have to do this or I have to eat this, is I want to eat this, right? Shifting their gears to something they have to do to something they want to do. And then if I see that the person is more, they have serious eating disorder patterns or behaviors, that is now outside of my scope, and I will transfer it to my partner who's a registered dietitian and has the credentials to treat someone with an eating disorder or anything else. If someone is insulin resistant, diabetic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, those are all conditions that I, as a fitness trainer, nutrition or guidance coach, I am not, qualified to help a client with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important, your scope. Um, Kind of the next question is, talk about this idea of you went through like a bodybuilding competition. How has that helped you? What new insights, perspectives that have helped you with your clients?
When going through a bodybuilding competition?
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned when going through a bodybuilding competition is realizing that competing is not healthy. Bodybuilding competitions are not healthy. Being at that level of leanness
Uh-huh.
is not healthy. So it gives me a different perspective because many clients come to you and be like, oh, I want to look like that. I want to have abs like that. And my response is usually, no, you don't, because they don't understand the level of sacrifice that it takes to have your body look a certain way. And also the health problems that come out of you being a certain type of leanness. So just for perspective, like I lost my period for a whole year through bodybuilding shows, because when women go under a certain amount of body fat, their hormones go out of whack, and things don't function as they should. So that's the lesson that I learned through bodybuilding. With that said, there's a lot of perks that come out of bodybuilding, like discipline, consistency. You are really in a mindset bubble, like you're just tunnel vision. And those are skill sets that could help you in your career or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and just being tunnel vision with whatever goal. So it has its perks, but you also have to be aware of what your body's going through.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to train Olympic Taekwondo, and like kind of like the week before, the month before is basically you're cutting down to make your weight, and you're a lot leaner, and like that pattern is not healthy or for long periods of time.
Exactly.
The other question is talking about is you coach a diverse clientele, and you work with a wide range of clients, all through the span. So what are the some key considerations you keep in mind when coaching such a diverse age group?
So I train a diverse age group, but I do have a niche. So my niche is women, and then a lot. It really depends. Some half of my clientele are students in their 25s or so, or just starting off their career, and then the other half is moms, right? So there's two different approaches to things, and it's really about, in overall, it's about creating a plan for them that is realistic, right? Many coaches are like, yeah, you got to train 6 times a week, go to the gym and do cardio and do steps and do this. That's just not realistic to someone that is a mom. Maybe they don't have as much support from their partner, and they have to do everything. That's not realistic. So really, a win is working out 3 times in a week. That's a win, right? So it's about, in general, setting realistic goals. And I think many coaches get ambitious, or they forget that it's someone starting something brand new, that they forget to relate in that sense. So 3 days, 4 days, just realistic wins is what I would say with all clientele.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that realism and small wins. For one person, it could be some, for another person, it could be completely different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like I said, like you're the classic entrepreneur that has a skill set and kind of parlayed it into helping others. Looking ahead, what are your future plans for coaching? Looks like you do a lot of online coaching now, and are there any new areas or challenges you're excited to explore?
That's a great question. So like I mentioned, I left my full time 3 months ago, so I'm still in the beginning phases of going full time with my business. So my first ultimate goal is to raise up my clientele, right? Targeting my niche group, which is women of all ages. I have as young as 19 to as old as 60 something, right? But again, that's my niche. So it's growing that area, and then obviously progressing, and in the future hiring out coaches that work under my brand, but they still follow the same values. So that is a longer term goal, but I also love in person. So I want to someday do a big event somewhere in a different country and have many join, or retreats. I love retreats. Just that in person experience even though online coaching is great and you still get to have that experiences, there's nothing like having it that in-person touch, feel, emotions. So that's really my ultimate goal for the next few years.
Yeah. Yeah, really interesting. And yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on to talk about, your corporate to fitness career transition. And what's interesting is I was talking to someone who did the same thing as you, and he was saying that basically the opportunity cost, the clients or whatever were waiting for him, but he is stuck in his job. So, and he was losing out on those clients, and his job was, he could have made more helping clients than staying at his job. So that, and I'm not sure if that's the same as you or if he was motivated by others, but feel free to elaborate, or we can have you on later.
Yeah, when it comes to that, my corporate job was well paying. So for me, I actually took a pay cut, but
Mm.
knowing that I will be fine in a few months from now, because now I have all the time to dedicate to my clients and like really go full throttle with my business. So for me, like it was leaving actually a safe, great amount of salary for something that I'm not used to. But it's okay. Like I'm okay with being uncomfortable, and I'm okay with taking risks as long as I'm happy with what it is that I'm doing. Because I refuse to spend another minute, another hour, another day doing something that I have zero passion for.
Yeah, and that's the recurring theme is we only have one life. I think COVID really put its mark on that idea, and it's kind of like and you control your time, your income, your location, who you spend your time with. Whereas, kind of this you create your own security. So really interesting conversation. How can people follow you on your socials, check out your work, reach out to you if they want to, see your services, etc.?
Yeah, Christopher, they could follow me at Baby by Leslie. So literally the word baby. Again, it's not a baby by me. It's like BABY stands for Build a Better You. So at Baby by Leslie on Instagram, and then I have my website as well, which is babybyleslie.com.
Excellent. And for all the audience out there, like I said, really interesting guest on entrepreneur, and she's going to do well. And all of her resources will be in the links and show notes. Be sure to follow her, give her a like, subscribe, comment. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Chris.